Hi, everybody. All right. Well, this time instead of a Blu-ray update, game update, what have you, uh, I'd like to discuss one of my favorite uh, movies. Well, based on a comic book, but you know, here it is. It is September, and we're getting closer and closer to everybody's favorite Halloween month, October. Yeah. So it's not really Halloween related. I mean, it kind of somewhat can be given the type of character and some of the themes that are in it. But today, I would like to review, as you probably already saw on the title, today we're going to review Spawn, the director's cut. And we're also going to discuss the differences between this version and the PG-13 theatrical. Coming up next here on the Media Files. Welcome back. All right, so Spawn, the director's cut. Okay, so first off, a little bit of history of this movie. Well, first of all, the original Snapper case. This has been re-released since in a generic DVD case and whatnot, but this is how I remember it. All right, so here it was in 1997. This movie got released in theaters, and I remember my dad taking me to see it because I asked him, and he's like, "Okay, doesn't look that bad." So hopefully he'll stay. There we go. And so we went there, we watched it. And I thought it was pretty cool. A little bit different than what most superhero movies were, but the movie was rated PG-13 when it got released in theaters. Yeah, that way they can get more butts in the seats at this time. And granted, the visual effects for that time, not too shabby. They were, all right for what they were able to do back then. But, so when it came out, time for it to get the physical media release. So VHS was still in its heyday. It was still there. So we got the PG-13 version of Spawn, which there's the cover right there. Then DVD kind of was creeping along, literally right behind VHS, and not only did this get released, the director's cut, but it also got released on VHS as well. But you can only actually watch the director's cut on DVD at the time it was originally released. And I'm like, oh, okay, so where's the PG-13 version? The PG-13 version of Spawn has never been released on DVD. It has never been released. New Line, for I don't know, if you ever decide to re-release this movie for an anniversary or something like that, put both cuts on there. Anyways, so, what are the differences between the director's cut and the PG-13? Well, frankly, not really a whole lot. Not really. Mainly, the main differences between the two versions, some of the dialogue has been changed. Certain scenes have been kind of somewhat re-edited a little bit from what I remember. And, yeah, it's very weirdly edited in the director's cut, which is so weird, which we're going to go through. So, first off, now granted, it's awesome. It's still a fan favorite of mine, from, way back when. If it's one of those movies where, you'll just put it on for background noise, there you go. But, upon hearing the fact that Todd McFarlane is coming out with his own Spawn sequel, with Jamie Foxx starring as Spawn, supposedly, and it being produced through Blumhouse, I'm like, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. Considering the fact that McFarlane himself is going to direct it, I'm on board. So it kind of made me want to go back and rewatch this movie. So, movie stars Michael Jai White as Al Simmons, a.k.a. Spawn, a, trained, assassin for a government agency, goes on one last mission, before entering retirement. Uh, also co-starring John Leguizamo as everybody's favorite clown. And then you also have Martin Sheen as Jason Wynn, the head of the government agency. That is the A6 agency, is what they call it in the movie. So Spawn gets. I'm just going to refer to Al Simmons as Spawn because it's just much easier. So Spawn goes to to this factory in North Korea, and he kind of notices something's a little off. He notices that there are explosives attached to all these biochemical weapons, and that he was actually supposed to do that, and that's been done ahead of time. He's trying to figure out, well, what's going on? I was supposed to do this. When himself shows up and, well, betrays him. Yeah, spoilers. So, Al Simmons dies, but here's the difference. This is where I'm going to start talking about the differences between both versions now. So, the PG-13 cut, after Wynn tells him that you're the dead man, and he flicks his cigarette on him after being sprayed by this it looks like ooze is kind of what it looks like, when it's like this flammable liquid that gets poured on him. Jason Wynn says, you're the dead man. And then when he flicks the cigarette on him, he starts burning. And then you can tell his mouth, the edit is kind of weird in the PG-13. Because you can tell the dialogue has been changed a little bit. And, like, the pacing is off. So the PG-13 version, he says, see you later, Al. In the R-rated cut, the dialogue has completely changed. He goes, see you in hell, Al. But when you see that Al type of... If you kind of look at his lip, the way the edit is, you can tell it's the exact same thing. But the dialogue has been tweaked, and it's off a little bit. You can tell that the lip sync isn't quite right with the director cut. Now there's a few extra little scenes of, showing Spawn catching on fire, just for like, I don't know, like maybe like an extra 2 seconds or something. So then the other major real difference is when they're at the party sequence. So here it is, 5 years later, Wynn has organized this, arms party for all the to ship out some military grade weapons to all of his dealers or whatever. And so Spawn shows up, spoils the party, and of course, guns and explosions and mayhem ensue, and as well as, in my opinion, some terrible editing. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is. There's just something about the way this whole entire sequence is edited, especially the director's cut, because he's pointing the guns, he's kind of doing this and doing that. You can tell that the actor can't really see out of the costume very well, but but it's but towards the end of it, though, as he escapes and is shot out the window by a guard or whatever, so Spawn's chains come alive and basically save him from falling to the ground. And then he literally hits face up against the wall. And in PG-13 version, from what I can remember, is that when he lands, he smacks the wall, and then it cuts to the cops on the ground. But in the director's cut, it goes from him to slamming the wall to the chains coming down, and then it cuts to the cops, and then his hand it morphs into that weird, like Yoda sticky like looking hand. After that happens, in the PG-13 version, he goes, hell yeah, after that. But the weird cut about this is that when he does that, and then it cuts to where he does the head bob thing, and he goes, holy shit. I'm like, that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, just the way the head bob is, and the way the editing is in that sequence, it's really, really weird. I don't know why. it's just, I don't know. I think, in my opinion, I think the PG-13 cut's a little bit better than the director's cut. I don't know why. But, but after that scene, there's really only one other little tweak where, where Clown, it basically has Spawn basically kind of, at his, he's beating him as the Violator. And then he kind of starts having his little, his little fun with him, as in, like, come on, I could have just killed you like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. What can I say? John Leguizamo's acting in that scene makes me laugh every single time. I love it, especially when he does the grunt move and stuff. But his dialogue is tweaked a little bit from the PG-13. He starts going, talking about when and one as sitting in a tree. He says that they're doing the whole, like, it's like something you would hear when you're in elementary school. You're like, so-and-so sitting in a tree, Kissing. And the director's cut, you probably already know what that's been tweaked to, and I won't say it. But you get the gist. But that's really the only real major tweaks to this movie. I mean, it's, they give it an R rating for violence and crude humor, and you could barely even hear the crude humor at all, unless you have, like, surround sound speakers that are turned up. But, I mean, the violence itself, it's still PG-13. It still is, and it's, it's really not that much of a difference between the two versions of the movie. But, overall, it is what it is. I mean, I know that this has been released on Blu-ray. Sadly, I'm surprised that the PG-13 cut hasn't been put on Blu-ray yet. No, probably because it made some money, but what can I say? So with that, that completes this little video of Spawn. I have 2 more planned. I'm gonna do a short Spawn series. So first off, the first one being the director's cut DVD and me rambling on about the differences, which is what you just watched. The other ones I'm going to discuss. I'm going to do a soundtrack review for the movie, and as well as review the animated series that was on HBO. Yeah, much better, much better than the movie in my opinion. And as soon as I do those videos, I'll have links to them down below. And then maybe sometime in the future, I'll actually post a video where all 3 of them are in one video. That way everything's all together. So with that, that completes this DVD review. Yeah, kind of give you a small little preview of horror-related stuff that is to come in the month of October. Yes, I plan on doing several horror movie reviews because I love me a good scary movie every now and then. And so with that, like, subscribe, hit that notification button, leave a comment down below. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. See ya.